Hello, welcome to this channel. Today we will learn about the shocking return of Liam Seleko, a figure from Theo Carver's troubled past who is about to shake things up in Salem. This unexpected reunion promises to bring buried memories, unresolved tensions, and the possibility of either redemption or renewed conflict to the forefront of our screens. The shadow from Theo's past returns to Salem. The tranquil streets of Salem are about to be disrupted by the arrival of someone Theo Carver never expected to see again. Liam Seleko, a name that sends chills down Theo's spine, is making his way back into the community, and his presence threatens to reopen old wounds that never properly healed. For those who remember Theo's childhood struggles, Liam represents a dark chapter filled with torment, cruelty, and psychological scars that shaped who Theo became as an adult. Liam wasn't just an ordinary childhood bully. He was relentless, calculating, and seemed to take particular pleasure in targeting Theo during their formative years. The torment wasn't merely physical, it was psychological warfare that left lasting impressions on Theo's confidence and sense of security. Those early experiences with Liam contributed to many of the challenges Theo faced growing up, making this impending reunion all the more complicated and emotionally charged. Abe Carver's compassionate mission. In a storyline that showcases his unwavering commitment to community service and rehabilitation, Abe Carver is stepping into a mentoring role that will test his patience, wisdom, and capacity for forgiveness. The beloved Salem patriarch has agreed to participate in a literacy program, and his assigned mentee is none other than Liam Seleko himself. This development reveals the complexity of Abe's character and his belief in second chances, even for those who have caused pain to his own family. Abe's decision to mentor Liam despite knowing about his cruel treatment of Theo speaks volumes about his character. As someone who has dedicated his life to public service and helping others find their path, Abe sees potential for transformation in everyone, regardless of their past actions. He understands that literacy isn't just about reading and writing, it's about opening doors to opportunities, building self-worth, and creating pathways out of destructive behavior patterns. The literacy program represents more than just academic improvement for Liam. It's a chance at redemption, an opportunity to rebuild his life and potentially make amends for the pain he inflicted during his younger years. Abe recognizes this potential and is willing to invest his time and energy into guiding Liam toward a better future, even if it means navigating the complicated dynamics with his own son. The actor behind the antagonist. Excitement is building around newcomer Hank Northrup, who is strongly believed to be taking on the role of Liam Seleko in his Days of Our Lives debut. Industry insiders and spoiler sources have indicated that Northrup's first appearance on the show will feature scenes with James Reynolds' Abe Carver, which aligns perfectly with the literacy program storyline. This casting choice brings fresh energy to the canvas while introducing a character with deep connections to established Salem families. Northrup's arrival marks an intriguing addition to the Days ensemble. His first scenes are scheduled to air during the week of October 20th to 24th, and they promise to set the stage for dramatic confrontations and emotional reckonings. The actor faces the challenge of portraying a character who must balance a troubled past with the possibility of genuine change, making Liam a complex and potentially polarizing figure among Salem residents. The introduction of Liam through his connection with Abe is a strategic storytelling choice. Rather than having him burst onto the scene with immediate conflict, the writers are building layers into his character from the very beginning. This approach allows viewers to see multiple facets of Liam before the inevitable collision with Theo occurs, creating a more nuanced and compelling narrative. The inevitable confrontation looms. The moment that Theo Carver dreads is fast approaching. Salem isn't a large town, and with Liam now being mentored by Abe, an encounter between the former tormentor and his victim is not just possible but inevitable. Spoilers confirm that Liam will definitely cross paths with Theo, setting the stage for one of the most emotionally charged reunions in recent days' history. When Theo first catches sight of Liam, his reaction will likely be visceral and immediate. Years may have passed since their last encounter, but trauma has a way of collapsing time, making past pain feel present and urgent. Theo may experience a flood of memories, the taunts, the humiliation, the fear he felt as a vulnerable child facing someone who seemed to enjoy his suffering. His body might tense, his heart rate might spike, and all the protective mechanisms he developed over the years might activate in an instant. The nervousness Theo experiences isn't just about physical safety, it's about emotional vulnerability. Seeing Liam again forces Theo to confront aspects of his past he may have worked hard to move beyond. It challenges his sense of security in his hometown and raises questions about how much power he's willing to give someone who once had so much control over his emotional well-being. The possibility of redemption. In a surprising twist that could completely reshape the dynamic between these two men, spoilers suggest that Liam may approach Theo with genuine remorse. Rather than reigniting old hostilities, Liam appears to be on a different path, one that includes acknowledging the harm he caused and seeking to make amends for his past cruelty. This potential apology sets up a fascinating moral and emotional dilemma for Theo. If Liam does offer an apology, it won't be a simple moment. The words, "I'm sorry," can feel hollow when they're meant to address years of torment and lasting psychological impact. Liam will need to demonstrate real understanding of how his actions affected Theo, show genuine remorse for the pain he caused, and prove through his behavior that he has truly changed. An apology without accountability is meaningless, and Theo deserves more than empty words. For Theo, receiving this apology will present its own challenges. Forgiveness is a complex process, especially when the wounds run deep. He'll need to decide whether Liam's remorse is genuine or merely convenient now that Abe is involved in his life. Can people truly change, or are they simply better at hiding who they've always been? These are the questions Theo will grapple with as he navigates this unexpected development. The impact on the Carver family. This situation places the entire Carver family in a delicate position. Abe's commitment to mentoring Liam could create tension within the family, particularly if Theo isn't ready to accept Liam's presence in their lives. Abe will find himself walking a tightrope between his dedication to helping someone in need and supporting his son through the emotional upheaval of facing his former tormentor. The storyline also offers an opportunity to explore the different approaches to justice, forgiveness, and rehabilitation. Abe represents the belief in transformation and second chances, while Theo may represent the valid perspective of someone who doesn't owe forgiveness to the person who hurt them. Both positions are understandable and valid, creating rich material for family discussions and personal growth. Will old hatred resurface? The central question driving this storyline is whether Liam and Theo can move beyond their painful history or if the old animosity will reignite despite the passage of time. The answer likely depends on several factors: Liam's sincerity in seeking redemption, Theo's capacity and willingness to forgive, and the circumstances of their ongoing interactions in Salem. If Liam truly has changed and is committed to making amends, there's potential for a powerful story of healing and forgiveness. However, if his apology is insincere or if he slips back into old patterns of behavior, the confrontation could escalate into renewed conflict. The tension lies in not knowing which direction this relationship will take, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. What to expect during the week of October 20th to 24th. Days of Our Lives spoilers promise that the week of October 20th to 24th will deliver unexpected moments that fans won't want to miss. Liam's debut, his mentoring sessions with Abe, and his confrontation with Theo are all set to unfold during this crucial period. The writers have crafted a storyline that combines elements of redemption, family loyalty, past trauma, and the possibility of forgiveness into a compelling narrative arc. Viewers should prepare for emotional performances from all the actors involved. The scenes between Theo and Liam will require nuanced portrayals of fear, anger, vulnerability, and perhaps ultimately, understanding. Abe's role as mediator and mentor will showcase his wisdom and compassion while highlighting the complexities of helping someone who has hurt your family. This storyline represents everything that makes Days of Our Lives compelling: deep character history, moral complexity, emotional authenticity, and the exploration of whether people can truly change. As Liam Seleko makes his way into Salem and back into Theo Carver's life, the stage is set for dramatic confrontations, difficult conversations, and potentially transformative moments for everyone involved. Don't miss a single episode as this powerful story unfolds. Days of Our Lives Recap, Wednesday, October 15, 2025. Abe faces a painful truth about Theo, Sophia spirals out of control, and a paternity mystery finally ends in Salem. Salem was a storm of emotion and revelation this Wednesday as long-buried tensions, family wounds, and dangerous secrets erupted into the open. On October 15, Days of Our Lives delivered an episode that tugged at the heartstrings and shook family bonds to their core, with Abe's heartbreak over Theo's choices, Sophia's desperate plea for help, and the shocking revelation about Tesoro's father sending fans reeling. A sweet business opportunity turns bitter trouble. The morning began on a deceptively light note at the town bookstore, where Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree waited for Paulina Price to arrive. The pair were excited. Their bakery, Sweet Bits, had just struck a new deal to supply the bookstore cafe with their famous pastries. It seemed like a simple, heartwarming business expansion, the kind of wholesome progress Salem residents could celebrate. But as is often the case in Salem, sweetness doesn't last long before the bitterness sets in. Just as Johnny and Chanel shared a smile over coffee, the conversation turned to the one topic neither of them could ignore: Sophia. Sophia's erratic behavior had been troubling for weeks, but after her latest outburst, the young woman's mental state seemed to deteriorate completely. Johnny and Chanel had tried to reach out to her, hoping she might finally confess to her recent misdeeds. But instead of remorse, they were met with silence and fear. Sophia had backed out at the last minute, leaving them both uneasy and suspicious. Before they could decide what to do next, Paulina arrived, full of determination and motherly concern. She had taken matters into her own hands, contacting Child Protective Services to get clarity about Sophia's situation. Paulina, always one to act decisively, made it clear, she believed Sophia was mentally disturbed and needed serious help, not punishment. "Something's wrong with that girl," Paulina said gravely, her tone a mixture of compassion and alarm. "If we don't step in soon, someone's going to get hurt, and it might be her." After Paulina left, Johnny and Chanel looked at each other with a shared understanding. This wasn't over. Whatever Sophia was hiding, whatever pain she was masking, they needed to know the truth. And so, the young couple made a bold, and risky, decision: they would go directly to Sophia's home and face their tormentor head-on. A father's anguish, Abe and Theo's painful divide. Elsewhere in Salem, another storm was brewing, this one far more personal. Abe Carver, the beloved former mayor and one of Salem's most respected men, found himself caught between pride, disappointment, and heartbreak when it came to his son, Theo. Abe had already been struggling to understand Theo's recent choices, especially his decision to align himself with the DiMera family, a clan notorious for manipulation, corruption, and betrayal. But nothing could have prepared him for the shock he was about to receive. When the episode opened, Abe was in deep conversation with Liam, a familiar face from the past, and not a pleasant one. Liam had once bullied Theo and other students, and his unexpected reappearance immediately set an uncomfortable tone. Abe's protectiveness over his son was palpable, but so was his frustration. He had always wanted the best for Theo, to see him rise with integrity, to be proud of his own accomplishments. Yet in Abe's eyes, joining DiMera Enterprises represented the very opposite of that dream. The tension escalated when Theo walked in, looking uncomfortable but determined. The air grew thick as Abe confronted his son, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and pain. "By taking this job," Abe said, his voice cracking slightly, "you become the face of a company that has done very questionable things. You're aligning yourself with people who've hurt this town, and hurt our family." Theo, trying to remain calm, explained that he wasn't taking the position out of greed or rebellion, but because he wanted to make a difference, to show that the DiMera name could represent change. But his reasoning only infuriated Abe further. In Abe's view, there could be no redemption in that empire of deceit. And then came the cruelest blow of all. Theo revealed that Paulina had encouraged him to trust his instincts, to make his own decision. In other words, she had given her blessing to his controversial career move. Abe's face hardened. Betrayal flashed in his eyes. For a man who had lost so much, his memory, his sense of family, his certainty about right and wrong, this was one betrayal too many. "I can't believe she'd do that," Abe said quietly, almost to himself. "After everything, after all we've been through." The scene ended not with shouting, but with silence, that heavy, suffocating silence that comes when a father realizes his child is growing up in a direction he cannot follow. Sophia's desperation, and Melinda's dilemma. Meanwhile, Sophia was spiraling. Haunted by guilt, paranoia, and fear of exposure, she did the one thing no one expected: she begged Melinda Trask for help. The district attorney, known for her sharp tongue and cold professionalism, was visibly taken aback by Sophia's breakdown. For all her faults, Melinda had seen plenty of people crack under pressure, but Sophia's distress was different. It wasn't just fear of punishment, it was fear of herself. Through tears, Sophia confessed that everything had gotten out of control. She had made mistakes, done things she couldn't take back, and now she didn't know how to make them right. She begged Melinda to find a way to protect her, or at least, to protect the people she cared about from the fallout. Melinda, torn between duty and compassion, hesitated. She knew she couldn't simply look the other way. But she also saw something fragile and deeply human in Sophia, a woman drowning in her own conscience. The paternity bombshell, Tesoro's father revealed. Just when the emotional intensity seemed at its peak, Days of Our Lives dropped one final revelation that left fans gasping. The truth about Tesoro's father, a mystery that had haunted Salem for weeks, finally came out. While details were only hinted at in the closing moments, the reaction from those who knew the truth was explosive. Gasps, disbelief, and tears filled the screen. The revelation promises to send shockwaves through multiple families in the days to come, and may even tie directly into Sophia's unraveling story. Family, forgiveness, and the cost of loyalty. At its heart, this episode was about loyalty, and the high price it demands. Abe's struggle with Theo showed the pain of a father who feels his legacy slipping away. Paulina's intervention revealed a mother's instinct to fix what's broken, even when her choices backfire. And Sophia's descent into desperation reminded everyone that guilt and love can coexist in the same tormented heart. By the episode's end, nothing was resolved. If anything, the lines between right and wrong grew blurrier. Can Abe ever forgive Theo, or Paulina, for defying him? Can Sophia find redemption before her secrets destroy her? And who will bear the consequences of Tesoro's newly revealed paternity? In Salem, one thing is certain: the truth never stays buried for long, and the scars it leaves behind can last a lifetime.